From Mother Mother. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
So you're up to your third album, and I've noticed there's a very distinct, recognizable Mother Mother sound. I was wondering, how would you describe that sound?
I don't know, borderline annoying. Quirky co-ed pop, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And that sound, was it in place since the band formed, like from the first time you got together, or even before that?
Well, I mean, I think so much of what defines a band sound that's vocally driven is just the timbre of the voices, or the voice, you know, the character of the singer or singers. And so for us, our vocals aren't really conventional sounding. And because I was never a singer growing up, I never sort of pursued that musical facet. I was more into instrumental music. And so when I started writing vocal-based songs, I kind of had to find my voice, and I don't think it was necessarily a common voice that I found, and so I kind of used it to the best of my abilities to work with the songs. But I think as a byproduct, it sort of created an odd aesthetic for the band, and then especially when you sort of infiltrate it with the harmonies, it definitely becomes probably quite signature.
When you write, do you have Jasmine and Molly's voices in mind?
Yeah, I mean, the more and more we are a band, and the more records we put out, you write very conscious of the people who are going to be presenting the songs.
Fair enough. So Jasmine, you joined, what, 2 years ago? About that?
A bit more than 2 years, yeah.
Okay. Was there an adjustment period for, well, obviously it was an adjustment for you joining the band, but I guess, Ryan, was there an adjustment period in Jasmine joining the band?
Yeah, I mean, everything's an adjustment. Every new development requires adjustment, but it was a fluid one. It was a comfortable one.
Well, I was a big fan, so I knew all the songs and sort of, I mean, I guess not inside and out, but I knew them quite well. I'd been listening to them for years, so, you know, singing along and sort of knowing the harmonies already was a big advantage. So it kind of, yeah, it was easier to fit in, I think, because I knew them.
Okay. How did it happen? Was there an ad in the paper, or did you already know everybody else?
It's a kind of a complex story, but yeah, it was like random meetings, and we all went to the same music college, or most of us did, and so it was kind of like through people who knew people, and eventually I ended up working with Ryan a couple times on just doing backups on a couple of records, and when they needed someone, he sort of offered for me to try out.
Okay, cool. All right, I have to bring up This Stand. That's a song on Eureka, your latest album. That song's been in my head for about a month, actually.
Sorry.
It's driving me insane, and it's a slow
It's really
process.
sorry.
I hate that
actually.
song.
Do you really? Yeah, did I read correctly you wrote it on the bus or something like that?
Well, I guess that anecdote has definitely been centered around the bus, but I kind of wrote it more as like an ongoing poem while just sort of walking around or catching the bus, just sort of like out and about, you know, just to keep the inner dialogue productive, you know. Yeah.
And the final recorded version, is that pretty much just what you had in your head?
No, I mean, the chorus wasn't written until it was decided that it was going to be made into a song. But all the verses, like the female, male back and forth, that bit was all just like a poem, which is kind of uncommon for my writing process. I usually start with a melody, and then the words sort of find themselves after the fact. But this was sort of the other way around. And yeah, it was a fun process. We kind of put a beat to the verse, and then it really inspired this hip-hop oriented pop extravaganza.
Wow. Hip-hop oriented pop extravaganza. That's how I would describe it. That's one of the, I guess I'd say, quirkier songs in your catalog. There's a lot of just, how do I put this? If I read the lyrics to a lot of Mother Mother songs, I wouldn't think they'd end up sounding nearly as uplifting or cheerful as they do. Is that intentional, or is there just kind of a Mother Mother filter that everything goes through?
Well, I think it's so much to do with the chord progression and the melody. I mean, yeah, it's a classic dichotomy that journalists like to ask about, and fair enough. I mean, there it is. But it's really not like premeditated. It's not like, okay, there's this bleak message, and now I'm gonna create a paradox with a major keyed chord progression or anything like that. It just sort of comes out how it comes out. And yeah, if you look at the catalog, there's a trend there. And I think happiness and sadness, they're kind of incomplete without the other. You know, they need each other to be what they are. So when you put them together, it can be effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like one side emphasizes the other more, or
Yeah. Well, and I think most of it's sometimes very easy to laugh about the heartbreaking things in life, and vice versa.
Yeah, you need to, I think,
Yeah.
in order to make it by.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Eureka comes out next week, I think March 15th. And what's the plan after that? Just touring for 2011?
Take over the world.
Yeah.
It's ambitious.
Yeah.
Good luck. Huh?
I don't know if I'd want to take that on.
I'm just kidding.
It's all screwed up out there.
I mean, it sounds, it's lofty, but what do you do once you're done, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, exactly.
Have a sandwich.
Fair enough. All right, so no tours you want to plug, I take it? Or?
Yeah, I want to plug all that stuff. What do we got going on? Right now we're kind of doing these 2 showcases, CMW and South by Southwest, and we're doing some Northeastern American shows to fill in the dates. But in April we're going to do a cross-Canada tour to fully promote the record. It'll be out by that time. And then, yeah, I think, it's just going to be an onslaught of touring that at this point is a little bit vague and not totally settled in its itinerary, so I don't really have very many specific details to share.
Yeah, any bands you'd specifically like to tour with, whether you are touring with them or not?
We want to tour with like a really famous band
That
we can,
rocks.
yeah, that rocks. So we can just play to like thousands of people every night and sell tons of merch and make lots of new fans.
Arcade Fire would be a good one.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
And that's kind of a lofty goal.
Or like
but
Modest Mouse. That'd be cool. Let's tour with Modest Mouse.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We can
Thanks.
take you
Oh,
too,
sorry.
I think. Thank you.
With you opening, I guess?
With them opening.
Them
Yeah.
opening.
Yeah.
okay.
Actually, they would just be setting up our rider. I think.
They'd just be setting up our ride.
Hey, they're humanitarians, right? So,
Yeah, that's right.
works out. That's all I got. Okay, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for
Good talk
having
to you.
us. Nice meeting you, Adam.
You too.
Explore Music wears English Laundry apparel.